This is the Acupuncturist On Fire podcast, the only acupuncture podcast where you will hear from business insiders, fellow acupuncturists, and be inspired to be the best acupuncturist you can be. Now, here's your host, AJ Adamczyk.
Welcome to the Acupuncturist On Fire podcast. This is AJ Adamczyk, and today on this episode, you'll be learning about building a six-figure acupuncture business. And to help teach you about this, I have Alyssa Dazet from Six Figure Acupuncturist. She will be sharing the 7 main areas she feels necessary for building a six-figure acupuncture business. Welcome to the show, Alyssa.
Thank you. Hi.
What's up?
Everything.
All right. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your business?
Okay. My name is Alyssa, and I opened up my own acupuncture practice in April of 2011, and I became an acupuncturist because 13 years ago, I had a random open heart surgery story, and my heart got infected, and it took Western doctors about 5 months to figure out what was wrong. So within that time, it ate away my heart valve. So it was a very eye-opening experience to Western medicine. So I was drawn to be an acupuncturist because of my personal experience with Western medicine. And after I opened my practice in April 2011, I just super duper struggled for like a year and a half, as most acupuncturists do, trying to get it off the ground and figure out how to build a business. And then a few things locked in, my practice exploded. I built a six-figure practice in less than 3 years, and now I am on a mission to mainstream Eastern medicine by helping other practitioners build up their practices. That's it in a nutshell.
There you go. So that's at sixfigureacupuncturist.com, right?
Yes, with the number 6.
With the number 6. All right. So you guys could all check out Alyssa over there, and we're going to get into the 7 main areas she feels necessary for building a six-figure acupuncture business. So Alyssa, what is number 1?
Number 1 is the most important one out of all of them. And unless you get number 1 locked in, then the rest of them don't even matter. So number 1 is mindset. Mindset is everything. Mindset, we could talk about mindset the whole time, but we won't. But mindset was what I was missing. It was the missing piece that I struggled with for like the first year and a half. And until I figured that out, nothing else was working. So with mindset, you have to have zero doubt that you're going to succeed. You have to build an abundant mindset instead of a scarcity mindset. Most of us are walking around with a scarcity mindset we don't even realize. And you have to be really conscious of always, all the time, filling your brain with positive, motivating, inspirational things.
That's what I'm talking about. So yesterday's tip of the day was, I think it was maybe a couple days ago, but on my Instagram at Acupuncturist On Fire was, everyone always talks about building six-pack abs, read books and, give your brain all this stuff, build a six-pack brain, a six-pack mind. And that's what I'm talking about with the mindset. It's unbelievable. Like, reading books, listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks or going to seminars, listening to webinars like Alyssa's webinars. So yeah, mindset is so big. I totally agree with you on that. There you go.
It's everything. So that's number 1.
Everything, Alyssa? Everything?
Everything.
All right, so let's go over number 2.
It's everything. Yeah.
No, there's nothing else left. It's just everything, just mindset.
And we're done.
All right, so let's go to number 2. So what is the number 2 area?
Okay, the number 2 area that I teach is startup, like how to start your business up. Because we're in grad school for like 4 years, if you're lucky, if you go full time. And we get maybe 1, maybe 2 classes in business at that time. But it's really just very unapplicable to where you're at, and you can't really apply it because you're still studying herbs, for instance, and you can't put your brain in business mode, and none of it makes any sense. It's not really applicable to business life out in the real world anyway. So what I teach students is basically just like a list of what you need to start up your business. And included in that is how to set your fees, because that's a huge problem with acupuncturists is fee setting. So what I teach my students is reverse engineering. You don't need to think about what your patients can afford. You need to think about what you can afford. And you need to think about how many hours a week you want to be working, what financial responsibilities do you have, like how much money do you need to make? And from there, you could do some reverse engineering, do some math, and figure out how many hours a week and how many patients, and then how much you need to charge each patient.
That makes a ton of sense. I love it.
Yes.
Never
I'm glad
thought,
that makes
never thought of it that way. I kind of was just like, when I started, I was like, you know what? I think $85 sounds good. Let's go with that.
One of the things I talk about is that everybody gets out of school and we just start an acupuncture practice just because. That's what we do. Like, we do all that. We set our fees just because. We start a practice just because. We don't really have any meaning, motivation, like reasoning behind what we're doing. We all just know, hey, I want to heal the world, which is awesome. But so since opening my own practice, I've learned that just because won't get you the success that you want. So you need to have a little bit more clarity.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Which goes back to mindset.
There we go. It just goes back to mindset. Exactly. Mindset is everything. All right. So let's go to number 3. So what's number 3?
Number 3 is marketing. Acupuncturists have such a hard time figuring out what to do about marketing. And they make it a lot more complicated than it has to be. I made it a lot more complicated also than it had to be when I first started. I tried flyers, I tried network groups, I tried networking with MDs, giving them my cards. I tried all the basic stuff that you hear. What I found out is that none of that really worked for me, at least. What worked best for me is just living my life and being happy and being present and building relationships with people. Because the one question that always comes up, always, no matter where you are, anywhere, is what do you do?
That's so funny. So last night, me and my fiance are sitting at dinner at a local spot on the river here in New Jersey, and we're sitting there, we're hanging out, we're eating, and somehow we get in conversation with the 2 people sitting next to me.
Yeah.
And of course, acupuncture gets brought up. Boom, boom, boom. Gave them a card. They're both retired teachers, and here in New Jersey, the retired teachers, insurance pays really, really well for acupuncture. And I knew that right then and there. Boom, I took advantage of it, and I knew exactly. They started asking me about arthritis, a twitch in the eye, and this and that, and boom, boom, boom. Before you know it, they were like, "Oh, we'll call tomorrow to set up appointments."
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. It's not half as complicated as people make it. It's just really being out there and enjoying life. And then, another step on top of that, you're very vocal and outgoing, so you don't have a problem talking to strangers. A lot of acupuncturists do. So one of the things that I've really narrowed down is how to speak to people. So in this scenario,
open your mouth and speak.
But I think the 3-minute elevator pitch is a bunch of crap. It's just so outdated, and it's just crap. So so what I teach is one-line wonders. So for instance, in that case, when someone asks you, "Hey, what do you do?" A lot of people will say, "Oh, I'm an acupuncturist," and then they won't say anything else, and it'll be like crickets, cheep cheep. But what you need to do is there's a simple little line, which is a one-line wonder that you follow it with. And you say, "Hey, I'm an acupuncturist. Have you ever had it before?" And that is such a simple way to engage someone in an acupuncture conversation. And that right there easily leads to what you just talked about, them asking a bunch of questions, and then they're really interested. Everybody's enthusiastic and happy, and then they want to come in.
Exactly. You definitely see that with acupuncturists. It's crazy that they just don't know how to even get out there.
Yeah.
Just alone. I'm the farthest person that goes into another doctor's office. That's just not me. I'm not going to go walk into another. "Oh, I'm AJ Adamczyk. I'm an acupuncturist. Here's my cards." you should refer. I would never do that, and you'll never see me doing that. So it's like, I'd rather go talk to the cool barista at the local coffee shop, actually.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what I believe, is that I'm not big on SEO or anything, because I think SEO just attracts a lot of random people to your practice. When you're out in your life and you're enjoying life and you're attracting clients through just relationship building or coffee shops or at the restaurant or whatever, you're attracting the same type of energy. You're attracting people who you resonate with, and you build a practice off of like your best friends, like people you love. Like, you go to work and you have the greatest time every day.
Exactly.
Yes.
You're building around people that you want to be in your practice and actually speaking with them, and they're actually going to actually take what you say seriously too. That's one of the things that I can't stand, is when you have people that, come to you and they're like, well, I'm definitely not going to do what you just told me. Like, it's like, well, then why are you here?
Yes.
All
yeah,
right.
And I don't really that doesn't really happen in my practice very much. Probably because of how I've built it, and also because of what we'll talk about later, which is how I speak to my patients.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I guess what I was trying to say is that, I find a lot of people, I'll speak about a client currently that I have. A client that I recently got, is she came to me through a referral of another client. So very nice people and everything. And this lady, she has it seems like a liver fire rising of some sort of blocking, giving her head pressure, the whole gallbladder channel, liver showing everywhere up, whole intercostal, palpation on the liver, and it's causing pressure, migraines, headache type thing. And I'm like, listen, and then I ask her, and she drinks 10 beers a day. And I'm like, well, can I just give you a suggestion of maybe cutting back the drinking and, detoxing the liver and maybe getting the inflammation down within your body, all these things. And then she's like, well, alcohol's what I do. And I'm like, well, I really don't know if you'll ever get over that hump if that's the case, because this is what's showing me, this is my diagnosis, yada, yada, yada. And she just, that's the type of restriction I was getting with this. I mean, I think eventually, I've only seen her for 2 sessions. So I think eventually she will really take on what I'm saying to her, but I don't think she actually understands that. She's like, why hasn't any medical doctor ever told me that? I'm like, I just roll my eyes. Because they're treating symptoms, not the root,
They don't take that stuff into consideration. That's the difference between Eastern and Western medicine. We take all lifestyle habits into consideration. I mean, that is all that is health. There is no other reason, really.
No.
And I think, though, you made a really good point in you straight up told her that, unless you change that habit, this isn't going to work. And I think that's really, really important, to properly educate your patient on how acupuncture works, because that's the truth. It's not going to work, and then you treat her and then she'd be like, oh, acupuncture doesn't work, but that's not the truth,
Yeah.
So unless you educate your patients properly on what's happening, they're not understanding what's happening. So I think, good job.
There you go. So let's move on. Let's go to number 4.
All right. 4. Oh, insurance. I lost track.
There you go.
Okay, so the first thing I want to say with insurance is this. I don't think that taking insurance is 100% necessary to have a successful practice.
Not at all. I don't think so at all. And I just did it right from the start. And it's kind of, that's where I built my business, got built through referrals, through other people that have insurance. So teachers, cops, and a lot of people that referred that were from other people from their jobs that have insurance that covers acupuncture. So
the coverage,
So that's why, but in a way of if I could redo it all over again, I might not even go that route. I would have just built right from the start without it.
I know what you mean. Yeah, because exactly. It just depends on how you start, and you can build it either way, off of the insurance referrals or off of just cash people in referrals. So, because I also have students, who are building up their practices, super successful, and they don't take insurance. I do. So what I do is just teach people the basics of insurance, because this is like a huge beast out in the acupuncture world. And I find that a lot of what's out there is fear tactics. I mean, there's so much fear around taking insurance. And I really try and just like dumb it down and make it very simple. And it's nothing to be afraid of. Like I feel like any training I've ever gone to for insurance, or what you see or hear online or in like the Facebook groups and stuff for acupuncture, like everybody's really afraid of insurance, and they're really afraid of being audited or doing the wrong codes or this or that. And it's just nothing to be afraid of. I mean, it's very simple how you bill. You bill the codes that you actually perform, and
you document what you did, and it's simple as that. A lot of people get scared about it or something.
Get super scared, and so the other thing that I'm really big on with insurance is to not do it yourself. I absolutely 1,000,000% think that you need an insurance biller. I have gone on this huge insurance journey, and I started like doing everything on my own, and it was a mess. Yeah, and I didn't pay for stuff, and I had no idea what I was doing. And then I went to like an online billing company, but it was a large billing company, and so I was getting paid, but I still didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know which codes to bill. Like I didn't know what I could bill. And then I connected with a private insurance biller, which I didn't even know existed, and from there, like she worked really one-on-one with me, and I learned so much more. I learned like what to bill, what not to bill, all about just anything that came into my clinic, like workers' compensation. I learned what even everything meant. I didn't even know what like in-network or out-of-network or EOB or like HMO or PPO even meant.
Oh, yeah, yeah, exactly.
She was like my insurance education, so I really highly, highly recommend, if you're going to do insurance, don't do it on your own, and use a private insurance biller.
There you go. So hear that. So don't do insurance on your own and get a private biller. There we go. I take insurance. I at my office, I actually have someone that works for me that does all my billing, but we do send to a clearinghouse and everything, and then obviously off to the companies and everything. But they obviously, I hired someone that had previous experience working in like very, very high, heavy traffic offices, and semi-retiring, almost coming to my office because I'm just an acupuncturist, not billing out hundreds of thousands of dollars a week like some big medical practices, saying that they did this and that when they did nothing. It's like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly what I mean, though. Like, we're such small little popsicles in the world of insurance. Like they're gonna go after like huge dudes, if anything. And if you're even doing anything illegal, also like
just don't do anything illegal.
Yeah, exactly. And when you are audited, because it's just a normal part of taking insurance. I don't know if you've been audited ever, but like I have a couple times, and all they do, from what I've experienced so far, is they ask for certain chart notes from certain dates, because they want to make sure that what you're billing is what you did. And so you just like fax them in chart note. It's not like an IRS audit when they like come to your office. I guess technically they can if they want to, but I've never known of that happening.
I think like the big dogs, like a big like heavy hitting like insurance company that's doing like hundreds of thousands of dollars in one surgery, like a big medical office. But like, yeah, exactly. With us, it's like, just bill what you did, what you're charting, and that's it. Like, it's simple as that. And obviously, we got a little audit education just there from Alyssa too.
Well, I just think people are so afraid of insurance. It's nothing to be afraid of.
It's crazy. There's other coaches out there that are preaching not to take insurance. I'm just letting you know that. So it's crazy. And I would never, what? I've built my business on insurance completely. I'm probably 95% insurance.
I mean, I think, like I said, that, yeah, it's not necessary because, like you said, you can build it off of whatever you want. But I think it depends also on where you're located. I'm in Santa Monica. I'm in California. And in California, they actually have really good acupuncture coverage on the insurance. And so I really like the option of my patients being able to use insurance, because they're paying out of their pocket for that. And so
exactly.
if they have good coverage, like I like to be able to have them use that.
100%. I'm totally right there with you on that.
Yeah.
So let's move on from there. So let's go to number 5. You had mentioned this is called Acupuncture Mojo, and you actually have 2 points to this. What are those 2 points?
Yes. So 5 and 6 make up Acupuncture Mojo. Acupuncture Mojo is patient care and practitioner confidence. These are super duper duper important. So let's start with patient care, because patient care ties in with a lot of stuff. Like, you want to treat your current patients like gold, because so much of your business is in your current patients. So this goes back to our marketing. Once again, it's not half as hard as you think it is, because if you have a systemized system of like reactivation in your office, then you're going to get in probably 80% of the same patients over and over and over and over again. For follow-up treatments, for tune-up treatments, so you want to really treat your current patients like gold. They already know that your services, work. They already like you. They know why to go to acupuncturists. So they really become like your little marketing army out in the world. They're like praising you and like saying, hey, did you know acupuncture helps with that? So current patients are everything.
Love it. Exactly. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. And then practitioner confidence.
Okay. Practitioner confidence. This is really important too. So many acupuncturists get out of school, and even though you've studied your butt off for like 4 years, you still feel like you know absolutely nothing.
So what is Qi? I don't know what Qi is. So how does acupuncture work? Well, it does this, and I know exactly what you're saying. You're like, I'm exactly. Like,
because we're in Eastern medicine brain for like 4 years, and then you put us out into the world, and all of a sudden we have to like figure out how to explain this, back to our patients in some way they're going to understand, and then that makes people really like not confident, and then they're like babbling like that, which then makes the patient not confident in your ability. It's a horrible like domino effect.
Oh, completely.
So,
totally yes. True.
So let's see, what can we talk about? Practitioner confidence. It has a lot to do with what we're going to talk about next, which is scripts. So it's got a lot to do with how you're speaking to your patient.
Do you want to just go right to number 7? Then let's go right to number 7 and do scripts.
We can do that.
All right, let's do it. So number 7 is scripts.
So scripts is probably, I would say, number 2, the most important part of your practice. I think mindset is number 1, and I'd say that scripts is almost number 2, because that will make or break everything. You need to have scripts ready for absolutely everything. For those questions that you just said, like how does acupuncture work, to things like just even answering the phone, so that you know how to close the deal, I guess you could say. From things from your interview process to when you're checking them out at the end, like you need to know how to enroll the patient in ongoing treatments. That's probably one of the most important things. What you need to be doing the entire time a patient is in your office is you need to be educating them the whole time on how acupuncture works. You can't just like at the end, after you've given them their treatment, be like, okay, so let's schedule you again, for Friday. And then they'll be like, why? Because you haven't explained to them the entire time how you need them to participate in order for this to work, how many treatments they need, in what type of like time span they're going to need the treatments, what to expect from the treatments. So you really need to know what to say to the patient in order to set everybody up for success.
I love it. So for the audience, you can go over to Six Figure Acupuncturist and check out Alyssa's stuff. So everything that we've gone over, these 7 things: mindset, how to start a business, marketing, insurance, Acupuncture Mojo, which includes patient care and practitioner confidence, and last, the scripts. And those scripts, if you actually go over to Alyssa's website, she has an awesome program you could sign up for, and you could get all these scripts she just has done for you. So you don't even have to figure them out yourself. She just gives them to you within her program. and she'll actually take you through all this stuff and really work with you and take your business to that 6-figure acupuncture business. Right, Alyssa?
Yes, and it's CEU certified.
It's CEU certified. Look at that. So exactly, that's awesome. So it's totally worth it. Well, obviously, if you're going to be building a 6-figure practice, I mean, I think it would be totally worth it. It definitely does take work, and it's not. She just gives you the outline of, what to do. Obviously, she can't do the work for you. But she's going to give. What's that?
On that note, though, you made a very good point, because something else that I think is really important as acupuncturists, especially trying to build up your business, is not to isolate yourself. So along with my program, we have like a private support group that I'm always there helping people. Everybody is a positive, motivated, inspiring acupuncturist, always there for support, helping people, because isolation is the worst thing that you can do when you're trying to build up your business.
Exactly. And that's another thing that you see a lot of acupuncturists have trouble with. They sit in their office and they're like, why is no one coming? It's get out there, go talk to people, go out with your friends at night, go out with them, and then, bring some cards and be like, oh, I'm an acupuncturist, talk to people, and, tell the mailman, and, just,
Exactly.
Exactly. So funny. So, you got anything last to tell the audience, Alyssa?
I'm on a mission to mainstream Eastern medicine, baby.
There we go. So
the more successful acupuncturists we have out there, the more that we're going to be educating the public, the more that they're going to know why to come to us, the more that, acupuncture conversations are going to be had, and slowly, we're going to get there. We have an amazing medicine, and it's really an amazing time to be an acupuncturist because medicine, it's shifting. It's really shifting towards, they are more open to what we're doing. They are more open to holistic, pharmaceuticals are out of control, and some people know that now. So yeah, it's just an amazing time to be an acupuncturist, and together we will mainstream Eastern medicine.
So besides 6figureacupuncturist.com, where can the audience find you? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, tell everyone where these spots are.
Instagram, I'm at Alyssa Dazet. Twitter, I'm at Alyssa Dazet LAC. Facebook, I believe it's Alyssa Dazet LAC also. Just Google my name.
There we go. Just Google. So that's Alyssa ALYSSA and Dazet DAZET. So if you are listening to this on the podcast on iTunes, you check out the show notes. It will be in there. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, just scroll down below, be right down below, and see all the good stuff. All right. Yeah. So Alyssa, I want to thank you for coming on so much. And this was awesome having you. And this, it was fun, definitely. And I learned a lot too.
Thank you, AJ.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
This has been the Acupuncturist on Fire podcast with AJ Adamczyk. To continue being inspired, head over to acupuncturistonfire.com and find AJ on Instagram at Acupuncturist On Fire.